got a little story to tell you.
Have you ever met a girl that you tried to date, but a year to make love she wanted you to wait? Let me tell you a story of my situation. I was talking to this girl from the U.S. nation. The way that I met her was on tour at a concert. She had long hair.
Well, as often falls to us in our chosen role as the spreaders of the news,
Yes.
we're like Hugin and Munin.
I don't know what that means.
Odin's ravens.
Oh.
Thought and memory.
Okay.
Who see all and then come and perch upon the shoulders of their patron.
Yeah,
and tell
I can
him
see
all
that.
the news. That's who we are.
Yeah.
Get the art made up. Get the art guy. But I don't know, have us have guns or something, or we're like robot crows or something. We always have to report the news, good or bad.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
There's a lot of bad news this week.
Oh, great.
So we'll just start off with that. Couple different deaths in the world of entertainment, and probably the biggest one that hit me the hardest was the death of Biz Markie at 57.
Heard about that. That's really upsetting at 57. That's pretty young.
Known for, of course, his hit Just a Friend.
Yes.
But, of course, did a lot of other things, worked with a lot of people in the industry, and always kind of cut his own path through the industry. Was instrumental, unfortunately for him, and maybe for the industry on whole. He was part of a case where he used a sample, and he got sued over it. And up to this point, this is like the early 90s. Up to this point, it was just, a free fire zone as far as like taking samples and stuff in hip hop. That's just how you made hip hop. But he ultimately lost this case. And he didn't, obviously he went on, his career continued. Like, it didn't hurt him that bad. But it basically put a total freeze on how people use samples.
Right.
At least uncleared samples.
Yeah.
Samples in hip hop is, obviously still a thing, but they all have to be cleared now. And sometimes a lot of people see it as sort of like tamping down on creativity a little bit at that time.
A little bit.
And that's when we got MC Hammer and a lot of these soft ass rap groups and stuff like that.
Sad. Okay.
Although he definitely used a lot of samples though as well. MC Hammer. And he worked with the Beastie Boys on a lot of their albums.
Oh, nice.
And it's just sad.
It is sad. I think it's always sad when somebody passes so young. I just.
He was not doing good at the end.
Oh, is that right?
Well, he was
heard...
a diabetic,
okay.
and he had been admitted to the hospital last year over that, and had like a stroke when he was in a diabetic coma, and so he was in a facility, and it just was not going well near the end. But
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, nice guy. I think he did like Sesame Street. Or no, he did like Yo Gabba Gabba, didn't he?
He did Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah.
He had like his own like segment, I think, on Yo Gabba Gabba, and like it just seemed like from what I read an article about like stuff that he did, and just like people's interactions with him just had like kind of like a sense of fun. I think, and a playfulness about him that not everybody in hip hop has.
No, in an industry full of taking yourself seriously.
Yeah.
I am Lil Wayne. Listen, I'm not Big Wayne. I'm the Little Wayne. Respect me.
Take me seriously.
He didn't care much about that.
No. Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Also, we need to announce, unfortunately, that Charlie Robinson, best known for playing Mac on Night Court, has passed away.
I heard about
the age of 75.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that. He acted for years and years. He got to start very young. He died at 75, and he'd be working for 5 decades in comedy and films. And it was just also known as just a nice guy. Mm-hmm. So that's too bad. And then Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful.
What?
From the WWE or WWF.
Oh, okay.
Was a big wrestler in the 1980s, which is when, the height of my wrestling fandom, I suppose.
Yes.
But, he has passed away. We don't know the exact cause of death, but I'm sure you can pin it on just the health issues that
being a
wrestlers
wrestler
have. Yeah. Although he made it to 71. It's
not
too bad.
That's not bad for a wrestler, honestly.
Yeah. But he was a great wrestler.
Okay.
He was a great heel.
Okay.
Because he's not Mr. Wonderful. That's ironic. He's not a face.
Sure.
He's not a baby face. He's a bad guy. And so it's about how great he is, and just having that ego, which goes all the way back to Gorgeous George, one of the greatest heels of all time.
I love that the heels have these names that make them sound
wonderful.
Heels are,
it's just like, it's just like movies or anything else. Like the villain's always more interesting than the hero.
Yeah.
All the hero's got to do is just smile and win.
Right. So what was your opinion on Mr. Wonderful?
I liked him.
Yeah.
I didn't like him as much as, say, a leaping Lanny Poffo, but no, I'm just kidding. No, he was great.
Yeah.
I liked Mr. Wonderful. I like Mr. Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
As well.
I have nothing to go off of but their names. So.
And Ravishing Rick Rude, I liked him too, although I don't
gosh.
think he was a very good person.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe Mr. Wonderful was actually a decent person. I don't know.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
We will not besmirch the memory
Mr. Wonderful.
of Mr. Wonderful.
Not on this show.
Here.
No.
But yeah, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig is from Minnesota. From
Oh, wow.
Robbinsdale.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He used to do this thing where he would chew gum during his promo, and at the end of his promo, he'd spit his gum out, and then he'd backhand it to God knows where. So I'm sure that arena owners loved him, but
that's disgusting.
I was at a play rehearsal. It was outside. I wasn't doing this inside. I was at a play rehearsal a while ago, and I was chewing gum. It was time to start the scene, so I spit it, and I did that. And the guy in the scene with me is like, "All right, Mr. Perfect."
Best reaction ever.
So, yeah. So we say goodbye to a few greats, but we strive for greatness ourselves.
Yes, we do.
At the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
We're here to bring you all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment, but not so much news today. More talking and analysis and critique and criticism about a couple things.
Couple of things.
Couple things. Right. First off, a new film was released on Netflix, highly anticipated in some geek circles, called Gunpowder Milkshake, about a female assassin and the tricks that she gets up to.
That's right.
When she's doing her female assassin stuff. Stars Karen Gillan and a bevy of talented women.
Yes.
We'll be having a review of that. And then for the, I don't know, I suppose it's in the feature spot, but the feature of the show will be us discussing the recently completed Loki miniseries on Disney+.
Yes.
We talked about the pilot.
Yes.
We watched the whole thing now. And I think thoughts have to be shared.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I guess a slight spoiler for the feature. I think it's one of, if not the best, MCU series so far. But we'll get into it. So
it certainly knows, and another slight spoiler, with how indeterminate the ending was. I think it knew where it was going, and it knew what it wanted to do. The most so far.
I would agree with that.
Out of 9 episodes of WandaVision and 6 episodes of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think Loki, they were all planned meticulously out, and they knew exactly where they wanted to go, and it was kind of nowhere. But we'll talk about that when we get to that point. Big announcement, or not? Who knows? Hopefully it's big, but it's on. The con is on.
Yes, it is.
We have got the confirmation. We're all signed up. The papers are signed. The contracts are written in blood, and we will be appearing this year at Convergence Con in August 4th through the 7th.
Yes.
Right? 4, 5, 6,
I believe
7.
that is correct.
Yes. This year, we will be doing our usual thing. We'll be interviewing guests there. Both Mika and I will be doing panels and talking to fans, doing that kind of thing. And we'll be hosting a live episode of Enterprising Individuals.
That's right.
As per usual. So took last year off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the con took last year off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're in agreement.
Okay.
And we're back this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just mean like it wasn't like our choice to take the
No,
year
everybody
off.
took last year off.
Yeah,
the Earth took last year off.
Because pandemic. Yeah. Okay.
So we'll be back.
Sorry.
This year for a slightly smaller but hopefully safer show.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, they're limiting the amount of people who are going. It's going to be a little different. But, at the same time, I'm excited to go back to cons,
Yeah.
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 So.
We'll see.
Yeah. Got a lot of work to do before then.
We have a lot of work to do. Mostly
so many movies to watch.
We just didn't know whether it was going to go or not.
No.
And
we didn't
get
know
our,
what panels were
our
going
schedules,
to be on.
our tracks until recently. Yeah.
Right.
But I'll be on 2 different panels talking about 2 of our greatest filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
One Robert Altman and one David Lynch.
That's right.
And it's like, couldn't you just pick a director who really changed the world and then maybe like died or retired early? He's got like
had a small
5 perfect films.
Yeah.
No, instead, 2 of the most prolific and creative directors of all time.
Right.
So,
right.
burning my way through the oeuvres of both of those artists right now, hoping to be ready to talk about them when we get there.
Yeah. I am going to be on a panel that talks about supposedly all the movies the Batman. And so I'm kind of trying to do all that. I've only rewatched one so far, so I'm feeling already heavily behind. And because there's so much. And then I'm also on a MCU retrospective. I'm not going to rewatch all the MCU films, but I'm going to definitely pick some to rewatch. I just have to sit down and like what are ones that like
Thor: The Dark World,
oh,
for sure.
God, all the bad ones.
Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
right, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how to help you there.
Right? Like, how do you choose? You know, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'd love to rewatch, but I feel like I know that one really well.
Yeah.
You know, so like maybe not.
And it
that
depends
one.
on the scope of the conversation. Is it just squeeing over 22 films, or
that's just it. Like the Mata sent a email out, but I haven't. It's like, where do you like? I think that they want to talk about the TV shows too, so I don't really know.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So Iron Fist for sure. Yeah, and the Batman one, I hope that you guys don't just do a bunch of guys all talking like this, talking like Cookie Monster.
I know.
Like Batman 66.
I don't know. See, the thing is...
Lego Batman?
Yeah, Lego Batman. So Batman 66 is, like, as far as I can tell, the only, like, big release Batman movie...
1940?
Let me finish. The 1940 and the 1966 films are not on HBO Max. But, like, everything else seems to be.
All right, yeah, but that doesn't... you can still talk about it.
Well, I haven't seen the 1940s or the 1966.
And, I hate to give away a family secret, but I haven't seen every single one of Robert Altman's films.
Right.
I just watched Brewster McCloud and had my mind blown.
In a good way?
I don't know!
What was it about? Can you give us a brief synopsis?
Yeah. Bud Cort, yes, Harold from Harold and Maude, lives in the basement of the Houston Astrodome. And he is building a set of wings so he can fly away. He also might be a serial killer.
Oh, fantastic.
And Michael Murphy, the guy who's in all of Robert Altman's films, plays John, not John, that's the real one. So somebody's Shaft. He plays like a white Shaft, and he's got to track him down. But that's not really what it's about at all. And then Sally Kellerman is like an angel or something. She's like walking around. She always is in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing stuff. And then it's Shelley Duvall's first movie. And Shelley Duvall plays a Shelley Duvall character, like a ditzy beatnik chick who wants to be a race car driver. So she has this stolen muscle car that she tools around in. Okay. And yeah, the entire thing is just a huge farce.
It sounds like bug nuts and just like all over the place.
In the way that something like, because, his other films aren't exactly like Seinfeldian exercises and things all coming together at the end. Sure. But there is like co-running narratives that interact. And then there are like resolutions or like, like Pret-a-Porter's like that. Should I rewatch Pret-a-Porter? I don't know. Anyway, the point is that, all these things do kind of come together, but it's all like goofy and dumb. Whereas in Nashville, it's like, oh boy, Ronnie Blakely didn't turn out well,
Yeah, right.
She's shot.
I know.
Spoilers for Nashville.
Yeah.
So it's already coming together. That's his first, like MASH. MASH is like the first Robert Altman film that's like a Robert Altman film.
Sure,
but it is very episodic.
Yeah.
even though nobody ever talks about Brewster McCloud, I'm just doing the panel right now.
Yeah.
I'm just warming up. Brewster McCloud is the first, I think, Robert Altman film that's like that Robert Altman film where there's just a bunch of characters and they're all kind of weird and like things are happening and they're moving in and out of each other's storylines.
Nashville's like that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, the player's kind of like that. Yeah, it's his thing. So yeah.
I guess I'm ready for that.
Good.
Now just got to watch Inland Empire and Rabbits.
Inland Empire is on my list. I haven't watched it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I know.
You know that thing where people... I'm not saying that, like, Lynch is very talented, and people think that his stuff is like, oh, it's so esoteric. It's so... How do you figure out? I used to think that, but most of his stuff, I think, there is a very simple explanation for what's going on. A guy, whose wife is killed... and he's put in a prison cell, and he becomes somebody else. Right. And Robert Loggia is chasing him around. It's like, what is this? It's not that tough.
Yeah.
He killed his wife, and he can't deal with that. So he's created some other person that he can be, figuratively. Things happen in movies that aren't real. David Lynch knows that. Or like, same thing with Mulholland Drive. It's like the girl version of that.
Yeah.
Or that's the boy version of this, where a woman... is a failed actress. She hires somebody to kill her lover, who has spurned her, and then it creates like these two sort of narratives that go in opposite directions. I have no idea who the monster behind the diner is, though. Anyway,
nobody knows.
Let's talk about the news. So, some good news for Mr. Frank Darabont. I don't know if you remember way back in the dark backward and abysm of time where Frank Darabont helped develop and then directed all of the episodes of the first season of Walking Dead, the short I think it was 6-episode season of Walking Dead, got that thing up and running, and then either went on to other stuff or didn't want to work with them because of this, but they basically screwed him out of royalties. They tried to take his name off the show, everything you can do to somebody that you have artistic disagreements with, and instead of just saying, oh, Brian Fuller's name is going to be on Created Discovery, even though he's not on the show anymore, they tried to screw him out of everything.
Oh my gosh.
AMC, all money comes to us.
Yeah, right.
Well, he sued them, and this suit has been going for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And it is finally resolved with a $200 million settlement in favor of Mr. Darabont.
Well, good for him.
So, yeah, good for him and good for the lawyer/accountants that he hired to go through the papers and find out how much money Walking Dead has made off of spin-offs, ad revenue, merchandise connected to the show, not to the comic book, all of that, and for them to go probably give us $500 million, and they went $200 million, and he went, how am I going to spend that? Fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
so
that's good.
Victory for the creator in this case.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing for the little guy. I mean, I guess he's the little guy in this particular case.
Yeah, I mean, he's a famed director.
Compared to AMC,
writer, creator.
He's the little guy.
Yeah, he's the little guy.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you're eating ramen for a while, Don Draper. No, I'm sure AMC can spare the cash.
I'm sure they can too.
Speaking of big networks and their important stars, apparently HBO gave James Gandolfini $3 million to not do The Office.
Really?
Yes. So this is when Steve Carell was getting ready to get ready to leave The Office. And they were looking for somebody to replace him.
Yes.
And this was around the time of, they got James Spader instead. This is around the time of the Robert California season.
Yeah.
When Michael was, lessening his time and then leaving the show.
Yeah.
And Ricky Gervais wanted so bad to have James Gandolfini be the new boss. Get it?
No, I don't get it. Why?
Because he's a boss. It's like, he's like a, we saw this guy do essentially like an office drama / comedy on The Sopranos.
Okay,
I don't know. That was their idea.
Okay.
And Sopranos was already off the air, but HBO wanted to protect like the image of Tony Soprano so much that they just paid him to not do it. So apparently he probably went to like
weird.
He probably went to them and was like, yeah, no, so he doesn't actually talk like that in real life. He just talks normal. But he's like, yeah, they're going to give me that. And they're like, okay, well, would you take $3 million to just not do anything at all? And he's like, Bada bing.
Oh, okay. Weird. That is such a weird thing. Okay.
Weird that a network would pay somebody to not work for another network?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we still have network, like... I thought
and this is before HBO Max. It's not like they're trying to protect... I mean, I think there's probably some digital
streaming.
HBO Live or whatever HBO Go, maybe?
Yeah,
I mean, people were interacting with The Sopranos, I'm sure, online. But yeah, they just didn't want... They thought that would be bad for the brand.
That's so weird. It just reminds me of like when there were 3 studios in Hollywood and it was the studio system. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Like he didn't sign a contract. They were just like, here's $3 million. Don't go work for them.
Well, I'm sure that there was a contract involved with that.
Yeah, I'm sure there was too. But
because they were afraid that it would hurt the brand.
So why is that coming out now?
I don't know. It just came out now.
That's so weird. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. It's not that weird. Steven Soderbergh offered James Spader a Sizzler membership card to not do The Office, but didn't take it.
I wouldn't have taken it either.
I can't think of... James Spader's been in a ton of films, and I just can't think of any of them except for Sex, Lies, and Videotape. What else has he been in? Some drug movie.
He
nailed
was...
it.
Wow.
I nailed it.
He was Ultron.
Yes, he was Ultron. This is... I don't mean theme park James Spader. I mean like real deal James Spader.
I don't know. I'm bad at... I can't think of anything else.
I don't
So.
I don't know either. I wasn't allowed to see those movies when they came out. Speaking of streaming networks, let's talk about the prequel series for Grease that has been officially ordered by Paramount Plus. Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies.
I don't know. Maybe this could be good, but my initial reaction is I hate it. I love the film Grease so much. The original film Grease. It was one of my favorite musicals growing up. Loved it a ton. Grease 2, seen it a couple of times. Not as great. So I can't imagine. It's hard for me to imagine. Years later, them to be able to capture lightning in a bottle as to what the pre-ladies, coming together.
Yeah, how did we'll see Frenchie pick up the application for beauty school?
Yeah, what is this going to be? Like, I'm going to design like jackets for pink ladies.
I know.
We can call each other pink ladies.
But, yeah, wasn't the whole point of what people don't get about these dumb prequels is that like in a movie or a show or whatever, you've got I don't get to mean to go all Campbellian on you, but you've got a status quo, and the status quo is violated by something. Yeah. And then we have to figure things out. Yeah. And so let's use Mad Men. We already talked about it. He's an ad executive. He's working on stuff. But what happens? The guy at the firm, Sterling's going to quit? No. Bert Cooper was going to quit. No, Bert Cooper was around for a while. I can't remember all right, bad, terrible example. But anyway. The whole point is you've got this like this a detente that's going on between the greasers and the pink ladies and everybody in school, but then you wing Sandra Dee in there, right? And then Danny gets all wild about that, and then then suddenly it's chaos. Yeah, right. And we're definitely going to have to go bowling. Wait, that's Grease 2.
Right. They do drag racing,
the cool
essentially.
Rider.
But yeah, right.
But all right, so fine. A couple years later, the Cool Rider rolls into town. Right. I don't know. They'll probably have pre-Cool Rider. They'll probably try to get the whole Grease verse in there.
Probably, but they're gonna show us the beginning of the T-Birds too, and them racing and
why not Grease the show? Why not Grease 3? Do Grease 3.
Yeah, why are we doing a prequel? I hate this prequel business. Yeah.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Yep, not a fan.
You can't stop it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen no matter what. Mm-hmm. Just like this actor. Uh-oh. You know him. Yeah. And you never thought that he would be in an Indiana Jones movie. Oh, God. But Antonio Banderas has joined Indiana Jones 5.
Oh, Antonio, why? Okay. Who do we know anything about his role?
He's probably gonna be a villain, isn't he?
Fantastic.
with slicked back hair.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't think anything about it. We don't know what year it's set in. I mean, can Indy make it to the 60s? I guess it's the 60s, right? Because the last one was in the 50s.
Well, it's going to be Harrison Ford again, right?
Yes, Harrison Ford, yes.
Yeah.
And it, thank God, Shia LaBeouf, nowhere to be seen. Too bad we went so hard on him in the last one.
Yeah, well.
But I guess Indy is just estranged from his weird, creepy son.
We just won't mention it and hope nobody thinks about it or asks any questions.
Well, you didn't think that, I mean, you could work it into the story. You don't think that a guy that like, rides a motorcycle around is going to be nice to ladies, right?
Yeah, well, wow. Whoa.
Well, you've always got, like Danny, like half of his songs are about like date rape, right? But it's
it's not great.
But he's got to shape up a little bit.
When you sit and you like actually break down the lyrics,
you gotta
it's
shape
not great.
Up,
yeah,
get consent.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So anyway, he joins Phoebe Waller-Bridge because why not? Mads Mikkelsen, right. Boyd Holbrook.
Wait, what? Mads Mikkelsen is in this already too? Yeah. So is Mads and Antonio Banderas, are they both going to be bad guys?
Oh, you're just assuming that Mads Mikkelsen's a bad guy.
Yes, I am.
Mads Mikkelsen will either be a late stage bad guy reveal that surprises no one, or he'll be like the Ray Winston character in 4. That's like he's a bad guy, but ultimately he's our bad guy, and so he's he's on the team.
Okay, all right, I could see that too. All right, yeah. What is a movie you've seen with Mads Mikkelsen where he plays a good guy?
The Hunt.
Yeah, where he's accused of being a pedophile, but he's not guilty of it. Right. But that's the only one that I can think of.
I haven't seen Polar, but he's the protagonist of Polar, right?
Okay. I have no idea.
There's probably a ton of Dana. Oh, the Royal Affair.
Oh, yeah.
You can't. I am a computer.
Okay.
Okay?
All
Christopher Isherwood is a camera. I am a computer.
Okay.
You can't stop me. But there's probably a ton of Danish films where he is.
Probably.
Yeah. What else is going on? I don't know if you've heard about this. There's a new Anthony Bourdain documentary coming out.
Oh, I think I did hear about this.
It's called Roadrunner.
Okay.
And the filmmaker, Morgan Neville, decided to use AI technology to recreate Anthony Bourdain's voice, to have him read some quotes from some emails that he sent while he was alive.
I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that.
It's not a deep fake, but it's a deep faked voice, the press is calling it.
Why not just hire some, like, a well-known celebrity,
like a normal person,
or a group of celebrities to read different quotes? Yeah.
It's
a little just hearing about it, it's a little off-putting. Maybe if I see the film, maybe it won't be, but...
I mean, I suppose that this is true of anything, even those Kevin Burns is less successful. Ken Burns' Civil War things, when Tom Hanks is reading some letter from Mrs. Appomattox or whatever.
Sure.
She didn't think that anybody was going to read that.
No.
But, like, they're reading, like, his email. Like, he sent this email to a friend, and it's, like, personal stuff. And, like, he's only, a few years gone.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a little weird, but then to have him to voice it, something that he never said, it's not a quote, it's not a public thing.
No, it's not.
So yeah, I think it's a little weird. And then they asked the filmmaker about it. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. He says, quote, we can have a documentary ethics panel about it later, end quote.
That's just an offhanded comment saying, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Guy seems like a prick.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm not going to
Good luck with your movie.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I'll pass on that one.
I want to see it, but maybe not if he's a prick. So we'll see.
I mean, I would, this isn't real.
I know.
So it's one thing for Tim and Eric to do like a whole show where, Donald Trump is deep faked into being a news host or whatever it was. I can't remember what they called that. But this is like not, you're doing something that didn't happen. And so you don't know how it was intended. I mean, it's email. You tend to write email to be straightforward. You can't really use sarcasm in text.
Not well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know how he meant it. You don't know if he would ever want that to be shared.
Well, probably not.
Well, Mrs. Appomattox has got something to say about that.
Okay. I wonder what his opinion would be about this documentary if he...
People say that he would hate it, but I don't know if he would.
Yeah.
He'd probably be happy they were doing a thing about it.
Aww.
Well, look, you don't become a star by not caring about people being exposed to you.
No. I mean, I'm sure, like, he had somewhat of an ego, to say, so to speak. But it's just so sad the way that he went, and it just, like, suicide is such a serious thing, and I hope that the film...
It's painless.
No.
Is what I hear.
Well, that's the MASH theme song.
Did you know that Robert Altman's, like, 10-year-old son wrote those lyrics?
Are you freaking kidding me?
It's not Johnny Mercer. I can't remember the guy that wrote the tune, but then either just because they wanted something or maybe a rights thing, they were like, we need lyrics for this. And Robert Altman, who's not above... small scale nepotism, was like, you want to take this? He's like, sure. Oh, suicide is painless.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then that kind of comes back later in the movie with thematically. Interesting. Yeah. That is very strange to me. I'm trying to get through that through my head, like that a 10-year-old kid wrote those lyrics.
Well, he might have been 13 or 14.
That's still a very young kid.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Anyways, I hope that they have some reverence for the way that Anthony Bourdain passed, but they don't focus on it too much in the documentary.
Baba Booey.
Yeah, right.
It's good. It's good.
Oh my God.
They have him saying all kinds of stuff. It's bad.
Oh my God.
He eats a taco.
It's bad.
It's not good.
It needs more salt. Yeah. Right.
I hate French cooking.
Yeah. The biggest lie.
HBO is working on a Last of Us series. We know this.
Yes.
We already know this.
We've talked
Pedro
about it.
Pascal is playing Joel.
Yes.
And we are going to flip everything around because he's a brunette, but he's Latinx.
Fine.
Which, geez, God knows we can't have a Latinx main character in a video game, but you can in a show.
Okay. Well.
And they have cast the original voice of the character Tommy in the game. Tommy is Joel's brother.
Okay.
And he's a pretty important part.
Okay.
He's been cast as a different character.
Oh, you're kidding.
In the show.
That's strange.
Yes.
Okay. Do we know anything about the character he's been cast as?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
So Gabriel Luna is playing Tommy in this.
Okay. Sure.
So obviously, like I said, they are going with the family is big names, but the family is Latinx.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Which, like I said, I good.
Mm-hmm.
We just want some like brown-haired guy who's gonna. I'm gonna watch the show. My thumbs are gonna be twitching like.
What?
Like I'm trying to move them around.
Oh my God.
It's gonna feel so much like a video game. No, but this actor Jeffrey Pierce, he is playing a different character, and we don't know. It's a character named Perry. We don't know what he does.
Oh, okay.
I'm not enough of a Last of Us head to know what
that character
Perry
is.
might be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's cool that they cast somebody from the original video game to be in the show. I don't think that always necessarily happens.
When it comes to Latin actors, I think we have like the same the Asian problem.
Continue.
Where it's like, we need a Chinese guy with gravitas. Tony Leung? I had a notebook and it had one name in it.
Yeah, right.
It's like, we need some big names for this video game show.
Yeah, right.
Pedro Pascal? Great.
Yeah.
Diego Luna?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Antonio? Oh, no, Antonio's doing Indiana Jones. We'll have to get another older guy. There should be more, shouldn't there?
Yes. Yes.
Especially considering that every single one of these streaming services and networks has a huge Spanish language section that we don't talk about unless you're on Netflix and you're like, wait a minute, am I in the Spanish section?
Right. How
all these people, they look a lot of political dramas. They're always like, this president is not going to be sexed on by you. No.
I mean, do you think that they just don't think to look at that pool of actors who are in like Spanish language shows? Because do they assume that they can't speak English? Do they even
I don't think they think about that.
Yeah.
It's all about facial recognition, right?
Oh,
we
sure.
are the facial recognition cameras.
Sure.
We go, oh, that's the guy.
Yeah.
I gotta watch this.
Right.
Whereas a series like 30 coins, which is like, I don't know who these people are.
No, I know, right?
I'd be jumping for joy if I lived in Spain.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, they're just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's even like that with like some British actors. I don't necessarily know who they are, but like I think if you were in Great Britain, you're like, oh, it's so and so. They were on this other show. That
Lily James is feeling that right now.
Yeah,
they keep putting in her in stuff, and it keeps not really going all that well. So
it's too bad.
And so did what's her name?
What's her name?
The sister who died.
The sister who died.
She had eclampsia.
What are you talking about?
Carol. Phoebe, Mary, Margaret, Bridget.
Oh, you're talking about Jesus. You're talking about Little Women.
You're just no, I'm not. I'm talking about Downton Abbey.
Oh.
You're just staring at me into the inside of your head.
No, I had no idea what you were talking about.
Sybil.
Yeah, Sybil.
Oh, yeah, Sybil. Where were you when I was
Because I didn't know what you were talking about. You were just spouting names, and I was like,
well, you act so assured when you said Sybil. I wish that you had been more assured earlier. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about? Because that was it.
I think
we did not beat it into him like we usually do.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I could dig back in the hopper here. Oh, did we cover it? Do you know that we covered it? Sybil?
Now I'm Sybil.
I guess no. I guess I'd just say that Loki is being renewed for season 2.
Yes,
we could have talked about that.
Yep.
In the news, or in Loki, we'll talk about it now, and also that the Silverhawks are being reanimated for a new show.
What are the Silverhawks?
The Silverhawks was.
Oh boy.
We should have just stopped. All you had to do was just say, that's it. The Silverhawks was a cartoon.
Uh-huh.
And it is by Rankin Bass. Now, usually that's, oh, hidey ho, I'm a piece of claymation.
Yeah, right. They did...
or stop motion.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
yes.
right?
Burl Ives is singing and then probably cursing out people when they're not rolling.
Awesome.
But they did a bunch of cartoons like Thundercats.
Oh, sure.
And Silverhawks. And that's pretty much it.
Okay.
They didn't take place. They took place, I guess, kind of in the same universe, but not really.
Okay.
And so this company has acquired the IP, I guess because it was just floating around.
Sure.
I can't believe that, like, where was Hasbro on this? You know, bring them into, how about Transformers versus Silverhawks?
Yeah,
right?
Good point.
That's how Marvel's the house of ideas, but it's also the house of, like, you know, buying things.
Yeah, no kidding.
Actually, DC is really the house of buying things.
You think?
Blue Beetle, The Question, Adam, all these characters are
true.
Charlton Comics characters.
That's true.
Captain Marvel was Superman's biggest competitor from Fawcett Comics.
What about a lot of the characters that end up in Watchmen? Were they originally DC characters or were they bought into DC?
I just told you, but I guess I'll make it explicit.
Yeah.
They were all the Charlton Comics characters.
Okay.
Alan Moore wanted to use them in Watchmen, but at the last minute, DC editorial was like, "Oh, you got like people raping each other, and like some of these guys are gonna die. No, we don't want that." Mm-hmm. And so he's like, "Okay, I'll make a blue guy instead of a silver guy, and he's Captain Atom, but he's Dr. Manhattan."
Yeah, right.
Why do you think Alan Moore doesn't like working with comic book companies?
I know. He's had a lot of bad experiences.
So anyway, I don't know. Maybe this is a bad story, but it's it's fun. They are space like ranger bounty hunters. They're like they're a force, and they are all cyborgs.
Okay.
So they're silver hawk themed cyborgs.
Okay.
And so they can fly around in space, and there's a cute idiot one, and there's one who's a cowboy.
All right.
I think his name is Tex, but I'm not sure.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And they're fighting the main antagonist, Monstar. So this is the amount of thought that went into it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Do we know is the reboot, is this going to be animated, live action? Do we know?
Animated.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I mean, why the hell not? Like, what's old is new again, right? I mean, they're
this
rebooting
company
so many things.
produces. So here's what they produce:
Okay.
This is the answer here.
All right.
I'm going to say some things, then I'm going to say something that makes sense. So they produce the Disney Plus show Behind the Attraction. They produce Down to Earth with Zac Efron.
What?
And they produce The Toys That Made Us.
Oh.
So that show that talks about toys and then has like stop motion animations where a guy's like, but then the people that made He-Man were not having the power.
Yeah.
They're going to do this. They made enough money off of the Netflix thing that they're like, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I'll reboot it and then we can talk about it on The Toys That Made Us.
We're making our own content.
Yeah, exactly.
So are they creative or will this be like a self-aware reboot? Do you know what I mean?
Good question. Like, is it going to be meta? Or
in the Cal Arts style?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
idiots say that. You know how many people went to Cal Arts? A lot of people went to Cal Arts.
I believe
a lot of your favorite cartoons were made by people that went to Cal Arts.
Sure.
It isn't just Steven Universe big head people. So
God.
Dumb to say that. You're just to show how ignorant you are when you say that. But anyway, let's leave. Okay, all right. So,
did you like the Silverhawks?
Oh, I love the Silverhawks so much. And I was the only person among my friends group that liked the Silverhawks.
Really?
Yes.
That's hard.
Because I have terrible taste.
Aw, come on.
But, yeah, I liked them. But we complain about people rebooting, I don't know, pick your Netflix show here. Mm-hmm. Or doing The Irregulars. And it's like, oh, wow. You didn't even buy a property. It's in the public domain, kind of.
Yeah.
So as much as we complain about them, they're still creators who have like writers and stuff. Mm-hmm. This just sounds like a toy company that did a toy show was like, do we have? Check it one more time.
I know.
The bank account. Click. We've got it. Okay. Let's get this IP that has been abandoned because only Aaron likes it. If Quentin Tarantino said he liked your film, then you too can make a bad action movie called Gunpowder Milkshake.
He did not.
Gunpowder Milkshake is the brainchild of Navat Papuchado, who is an Israeli filmmaker. This film was directed and written by him. This is his fourth film?
Okay.
Actually, it's his first American film. He made 2 films in Israel. Mm-hmm. And his 2013 film, Big Bad Wolves, was praised by Quentin Tarantino as 2013's best film.
Okay.
Well, what was he doing then?
Yeah.
Basically this is his American debut. I don't know the story behind this film, but I feel like I can guess. I feel like I can put a lot of it together.
I feel like you can kind of parse it out.
Yeah.
More so maybe than the actual story that is supposedly being depicted within the film.
Yeah. I think that when you get Tom Cruise on board, you can remake The Day the Clown Cried. You can do whatever you want because it's Tom Cruise.
Right.
If you have a concept and you have enough B-level talent to fill out that concept.
Oof.
Well, doesn't Carla Gugino sort of balance out Angela Bassett? And isn't Michelle Yeoh on TV?
I mean,
but if you go, I want Lady John Wick, I want Jane Wick.
Yeah, right.
And I've got a semi-bankable list of people who are all on board because I sold it to them. It's Jane Wick.
Yeah.
Don't you want the girls to do the action?
Right.
And then you can take that to Netflix and they'll go, here is your money.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I was looking forward to this because, well, I guess there's just a lack of. I want to see good female action hero movies.
Like Aliens.
Right.
It was first female action hero. So that's totally wrong.
It is.
It was Joan Crawford and Johnny Guitar. We all know this.
Yeah, right. She totally rocked those shirts, and yeah, she was an action star. But it's just disappointing, especially like I like a lot of the people that are in this. I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. Maybe they're not necessarily A-listers.
Insofar as there is a story, here it is.
Okay.
This girl named Sam is an assassin. Her mom was an assassin, and her mom had to leave.
Yeah.
When Sam was a girl, her mom pissed off the firm. They call it the firm, although the CIA was called the firm, but this is not the CIA. But I don't know if he knows this. But anyway,
not.
So the firm is after her, so she had to leave. Someone raises Sam, but why show us that? We skip immediately to the present day. Who?
Nathan, Paul Giamatti is supposedly raising Sam.
I guess, but he's also high up in the firm.
I know.
And gives her the contracts to put hits on people.
I know.
And you think that, like, if he's her father figure, they would share the screen for more than 30 seconds? You're wrong.
There would be some warmth between them. Yeah.
Not necessarily warmth. You think that it would be important for them to face off. Mm-hmm. Sorry to bring in a much better film into this discussion. And so she is tasked by the firm to do jobs and stuff, although it's not a job gone wrong. It's a completely different job because there's some other thing that's going on where a guy stole some money from the firm.
Right.
And so they ask her to kill this guy and get the money.
Yeah.
But then she goes to kill that guy, but finds out that his daughter is been kidnapped by people we don't know and we'll never know.
Nope.
Some other people.
Yeah.
And so, because she's got to go, take care of that because she's got to get the daughter back. I don't think she has to, but she wants to.
Yes.
And then she gets the daughter back and, you know where this is going.
Yeah. I think
Except you'd probably imagine in your mind there'd be a lot more action.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot better done.
That it would be more exciting. And I think she goes and feels determined to get the girl back because she, sees herself in her in some ways, even though, like, the girl in this is, like, 10.
To protect her?
Yeah.
From the kind of life that Sam ended up in.
Right.
That I guess she's not happy with, although she just eats cereal and watches TV and things.
And milkshakes.
Cool. Yeah, and she drinks milkshakes because that's in the title. Milkshake's never really important.
No.
Do claim the life of one nameless bad guy.
Yeah. And her mom and her share one, and it seems like it's important.
If that's important... Yeah, and they creepily, like, stare at each other as they both drink out of the same milkshake thing. It's like your guys aren't
strange.
Like lovers in the 50s.
I know.
Is this your bonding ritual? Anyway, the point is that she's trying to save her from this life, and then, I guess slight spoilers for the end, gets her involved in an assassination at the end.
Yeah, right.
Actually, all throughout the movie, the girl is helping her kill people.
Yeah.
So, does not succeed in that.
No.
I just don't. I mean, are you here to watch an assassination? Because we can just assassinate this thing if you want to. But the idea of having... Here's something else. The idea of having it be all the heroes are women and they're all shooty fight women.
Yeah.
You think that normally a lesser movie, and this is a lesser movie, would go to great pains to point out how the sisters are doing it for themselves.
Yeah, right.
But this movie doesn't. And I wasn't sure if that was refreshing, if that was feminist or not, up until the end of the film, where the main bad guy, one of the main bad guys, a guy that we don't know at all, and he's mad because a character we never met was apparently killed by Sam.
His son, yeah.
His son, yes. He gives a speech to her about how his son was his only son, and he has 6 daughters or whatever, and so he lives in a house of women, and he doesn't understand women, and so he is a stranger in his own house now again because his son has died, which is like weirdly, in a familial way, the most sexist thing I've ever heard. But that comes so late, and it isn't like Paul Giamatti underestimates Sam because she's a girl. He knows that she's one of his best guys. Yeah, right. There is no gender commentary really in the film at all, other than it just being, the good guys are women.
Yeah, I know. Other than being like the female John Wick, and also like is the whole. world like assassins, or is it just like this little circle?
There are no cops in this world. I know that.
Yeah, right. They go to the diner, and that's just like part of where the assassins hang out, and they have to give up their guns when they go there.
Yeah.
They
sure do.
I like the idea of this. I just don't think it was executed well.
What, the idea? Jane Wick?
Yes.
I mean, John Wick doesn't work.
No, you're right. It doesn't. I
said it.
Yeah.
It's so weird and bad, and the structure is baffling because you think in terms of like, payoff, building to a climax, tracking a story. Mm-hmm. It has like 3 endings because we get to a part where it's the apocalyptic shootout. We're over 90 minutes. This is definitely B if you were considering like making this a franchise, which they are. They say they're working on 2, but I haven't heard any green light from Netflix yet. And so you'd think, oh, okay, well, here's the part where we go, well, we killed most of them. There's some out there still, but we've got gunpowder in our milkshake.
Right.
Roll credits.
Right.
Give me that hot music stink. We couldn't afford anything. Give me this folk rock.
Yeah, right.
But it continues. And then they go and they have another confrontation that it's almost like it's much smaller with less impact than the first one. And then there's a third thing that is really kind of like the character's actual, like the end point of their story that has 0 impact at all because we're just out of money at this point or everybody's dead. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
It doesn't work. And the dialogue is terrible.
It's really bad.
It's written in that. Remember, like after Pulp Fiction became popular, and there were a lot of those crime films where everybody's talking about, like, fast food or confectioneries or whatever,
trying to recreate.
Yeah. This is like that, but it's 2021.
Yep.
And it's got that thing that I call the American Gods thing, where every time a character meets another character, they have to act like it's some like, well, if it isn't Mrs. Shoot and Kill, I ain't seen you since 1921 in Budapest or whatever. Like just having these characters explain leadenly that they have a connection that's important.
Right.
That's like the most tell you can get.
Yes.
Like, why not show us something?
Right.
But I guess you can't afford to. But then maybe don't make this just like attempt at a sweeping action film. This could have been a much smaller thing.
Yeah.
I could see this made in the 90s. Like a direct-to-video, like smaller type film that gets... I mean, isn't this is just The Professional, right? This is just Leon.
I mean, essentially. And at one point, the young girl says that she's Sam's protege.
Right.
And she's kind of like, but she doesn't know how to react to that. But that's
what
it reminded me of the Professional.
Oh, so you're gonna clumsily kill like a bunch of like Israeli goons?
Right. Right.
And the tone is wildly swings back and forth. Like they never land. Lena Headey is real good sometimes. And other times she's just there to scowl and take a paycheck. And the whole thing, but you think that there would be some kind of blow up, some kind of thing. There's stored resentment. And so we need to get over that.
Right.
Bad example, but like when Natasha and Yelena meet in Black Widow, they have a fight where they nearly kill each other.
Yeah.
Because...
they haven't seen each other in...
Right, because it's time to have a fight.
A long time. Yeah,
because it's 45 minutes in or whatever.
Right.
But also because they have feelings for each other, but it's the porcupine's dilemma. They were raised to express themselves through murder, and so they don't know what else to do until they both get tired and go, oh, that's nice shoes or whatever.
Right.
You'd think there would be something, but there isn't. Karen Gillan just falls into her default, oh, I'm a very beautiful woman who just sort of holds still and doesn't say much and do anything. So she's never like feeling anything or doing anything. And then they have a big gunfight and they're trapped behind a thing and it's like, but I'm here with my mom. What?
And like now we're totally okay, even though like I felt abandoned by her and resentment.
Well, my mom, I ain't seen you since I was coming out of you.
No, I know. And they didn't have, like you were saying, they didn't have anything really cathartic or emotional between those two characters. And then also Angela Bassett was like really mad at Lena Headey's character for abandoning the library because I guess she was a librarian, which is, I guess... Yeah, they're all librarians. They supply guns, and they're in the books. Anyways, she just like forgives her at some point.
They took the idea of, in a spy movie
right.
or a thriller where there's like a
James Bond,
a gun inside of a book. They took that and just ran with it.
Yep.
What if you went to a library, which this is clearly a bookstore, right? But I guess it's a library. What if you went to a library where every book had a gun,
a weapon or gun?
Well, then you would have to do a thing where a farewell to arms is a chainsaw or something like that. You know what I mean? You'd have to be clever with it and do something with it, right?
But they're not.
The Guns of Navarone. This is the big one,
Yeah.
None of that is a thing. And then there's a point where she's a master assassin with a gun, and she keeps losing her gun.
Yeah.
So she has to like awkwardly let her stunt person do all the fights. Mm-hmm. And so she's fighting them in the stacks of books. Every single one of these is probably a weapon, right? So how come the characters aren't like madly pulling like books? I don't think opening the books and like, oh, it's one of those balls and paddles. Why is that in there? I need a gun,
Right.
Ooh, size. Oh, I've got nunchucks.
Right.
Why aren't they like doing things with that premise?
I don't know.
Instead, they just go to like one room is like the sea room and one room is the forest room.
Yeah, I know.
Like a upscale Barnes and Noble.
I know. Those are the kid areas.
It's lame. It wastes its great cast.
It totally does.
Although at this point, Paul Giamatti will do anything.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that, but I just, it's frustrating because I think it had potential, but it's just the script is terrible. And so then if you start from it being bad, how do you get better from that? And then I think you mentioned while we were watching it, we were, I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes in or so, and there hadn't been an action scene yet.
No.
Like, it was implied, but we didn't see it.
Yeah, lots of implied action.
Which is really what you look for in an action movie.
Yeah.
So,
I would not recommend.
I would not. I recommend you
Gunpowder Milkshake.
Do not watch it and save yourself the time.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be disappointed.
I think that the audience has also spoken. It's 48 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Oof. Yeah.
And which is usually lower. And then Rotten Tomatoes is 66%. So I think that's a lot of reviewers going, I don't want to like badmouth a movie that's all about women or has a bunch of women in it, but you can skip this one.
Yeah.
Although I would have said that about John Wick. So maybe I'm not always right. Kate Herron not returning for Loki season 2.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Why?
And I was trying to parse. She was talking to Deadline, and they asked her. She's like, well, I'm not coming back. In fact, I didn't, I heard when everybody else did that they were renewing it for season 2. And so if you're Kate Herron, you go, ring, ring. Yeah, I watched it too. Hey, can you call them, your agent?
Yeah.
And then, we try to set something up, but she didn't say that it was a thing. It could be scheduling, but it seems like she probably heard it wasn't going to be a thing. They're going to do something else. So, not asked, and will not be back.
I think that that's really disappointing for a lot of different reasons. I think she did a really great job, and I think she at the very least should have been asked, or there should have been some sort of discussion about like, we're going to renew it, but we want to go in a different direction, so we're going to go with somebody else or something. I just think.
Well, Marvel doesn't often. Is Peyton Reed their most reliable? I suppose the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
But after their most reliable single-person director is about to become Taika Waititi, but at this point is Peyton Reed, right?
Yeah, right.
So they don't do that. They will switch horses no matter what part of the stream they're in, and so they figured that because it's Marvel. So let's say she's doing something else, Marvel gives you 150% above or whatever, and then you go to the other thing and you go, can we push it till 6 months? And you just do it later.
Yeah, right.
So I don't think she was asked.
I don't think she was either. It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah. It's too bad because we're about to talk about how great this show is.
Yeah, right.
And she was a huge part of that.
Yes.
All the way through it. Really the first person I think they've got who was meant to do this.
I think so. Yeah.
You're looking at some of her previous stuff and what she's done before. It's not necessarily weird space Norse gods, but it's complicated stuff. It's comedy stuff that with some drama elements.
Okay.
And I think that, she was the right person for this. And, Marvel's doing its usually regular job of good casting.
Yes.
Maybe the Jonathan Majors thing aside. We can talk about that in a little bit. But
okay.
Otherwise, the casting has been pretty roundly great. And it's shot in Atlanta, but what can you do?
It already shot, so, I mean...
They only went down once because of COVID.
Okay.
And then everybody wore their Spider-Man masks.
All right. Well, that's not too bad then, I guess.
If you don't know, and why are you even here if you don't? But if you don't know, up to this point, Loki has been through a lot.
Yes.
He's been ousted from his own timeline,
yes.
A victim of fate, if you will. He has been press ganged into serving the TVA, a temporal variance authority who polices the timelines and basically wants to keep everything the same.
Yeah.
But the Avengers can do whatever they want.
Apparently.
And then through the course of working for them, runs into the variant that they're looking for, which, by the way, I know that, the whole TVA thing gets turned upside down, but we never resolved that.
No.
Owen Wilson wants her ass bad because she's killed a lot of people.
That's true.
And then by the end, it's
true.
Let's get in the pizza car. It's good times.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not everything can be consistent when you've only got 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But anyway, he is searching for himself, in a way, or hers, or herself.
Right, or oneself.
A female Loki who calls herself Sylvie.
Yes.
Because Easter egg is trying to destroy the TVA and is doing what she can to fight back against them because they stole her life when she was just a young child.
Yes.
And so Loki and Sylvie unexpectedly bond over their shared positions in life. The fact that they both feel like failures, the fact that they're both cast as villains.
Yes.
When they're just, like any good villain, believe that they're right.
Right.
And their journey in the 6th episode takes them to the very heart of the situation itself and the power behind the TVA.
Power behind the curtain. Yes. He who remains.
Yes.
Is who they meet after running into Miss Minutes.
Yes.
Creepily enough. So.
Yeah. You don't cast Tara Strong for a one-off, right?
Oh,
like she's going to be a part of this.
No, and I was glad to see it, and I not terribly surprised that Miss Minutes was kind of evil and knew a lot of the behind the scenes stuff of the TVA. But I think it's interesting, that this. What is she exactly? She's like a cartoon clock, but she's got all these powers and she can travel through time and space. And
here's the critical reception for each episode. The first episode debuted at a 97%.
That's
on
really
Rotten
high.
Tomatoes.
Yep.
The second episode was 94.
Okay.
Third episode was 83.
Whoa.
That's the train episode.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It does slow down a little bit.
It does.
But I'd argue that it's really where the thematic core of the show is revealed.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's where we learn what the show is about.
Yes.
Climbs back up to 87 for number 4.
Okay.
92 for 5 and 92 for 6.
Okay. Overall, not bad. Pretty high.
Is Legends of Tomorrow mad that they stole their show? That's a different conversation.
Oh, wow. I don't know Legends of Tomorrow that well.
Let's talk about, assuming that the listeners know, are up to date on this. And if they're not, I don't know, just don't listen to this and then just come back when you are. Let's talk about how the show lands, where it was going, what we think, if we like it or not.
Yeah.
What it means for Series 4 or Phase 4 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And where they're going in the future.
Okay. That's a lot.
Just 4 things.
I know. Where do we start?
Well, everybody. So if everybody knows it's Kang,
yeah, Kang the Conqueror,
then I think that they handled this better than WandaVision because everybody knew it was Agatha Harkness.
Yes,
but you don't have Agatha Harkness go, well, the Scarlet Witch, I ain't seen you since the Salem trials in 1699 or whatever. No. She's just like, hi, I'm Agatha Harkness. And if you know who that is, you're like, it's kind of a lame. Why would you just say that?
Right.
If you don't know who it is, you're like, why did she say that?
That's
but instead, they wisely, I don't know if it's wise or not yet, but they cleverly, let's say, take that meta knowledge that we have about who's been cast. Why would they announce years before Quantumania comes out that so-and-so will definitely be Kang the Conqueror in the movie?
Yes.
It's because we can put him in this show, a character that is connected to Kang, but isn't necessarily Kang, depending on how you look at it.
Right, exactly.
If he and Kang made out, would you be grossed out or not?
I think your answer would be yes.
Oh, wow. Put me on trial.
I don't have a problem with the Loki Sylvie thing as much as some people do.
I just don't know why in all forms of entertainment, any slight connection has to be romantic.
Isn't
it possible that
they
both found a friend, somebody who understands them because they are them?
Yes.
This is the thing where, like, you've got the drama and the two women. He's so mean, I know. But, you know, you've got a lot about yourself that's good. Actually, I'm already writing this like a porno. And then, two women have an emotional connection, and then they immediately start just making out.
I know.
It's like, a man wrote this. But anyway.
Right.
Whatever the equivalent of a man is for this, wrote this.
Uh-huh.
I just don't know why they had to be. It makes their breakup or their going in different directions more painful, I guess.
Think,
for the characters.
yes. I would agree with that.
If Sam and Cap disagreed on something,
that'd be pretty painful too.
Pretty painful.
Yeah.
Without them making out.
Yes, even though there are many
Move over
fanfics
to
dedicated
Tumblr
to that.
for that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So overall I liked it. I did so this last episode I did kind of think that it was different than what I was expecting. I mean, I knew that they were going to figure out, or I hoped they were going to figure out who was running it. But there was a lot of talking and
Ever
a lot of
The Matrix Reloaded.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It was an architect scene.
Yeah, except it was.
You've got an example of that.
Uh-huh.
So why not do that?
Right.
But instead they did.
They did.
And it wasn't like hardcore lore dump. It was just him having to, for 20 minutes as the camera slowly zoomed in or zoomed out, explain in a vague way what's going on with not a lot of proper nouns, and names and stuff. The biggest thing that we got was that, either before all this happened, the TVA, there was a multiverse.
I think before this happened, there was a multiverse.
At some point. Yeah. And so I guess it doesn't matter because it's all outside of time and he works within time because he's from the 31st century. But there were many timelines. Once again, we're getting timelines and multiverses confused.
Yep.
But whatever. Mm-hmm. Doesn't he say something to the effect of that?
He might.
Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. And so, we learned that, yes, there was many timelines,
universes on top
or
of
whatever,
each other.
But that wasn't going to work. So he got rid of them all. But, the events of the series bring that back. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people theorize that, the new Avengers will be the multiversal Avengers.
Yeah, right.
The next big thing that we have, we'll have a couple different. Now you're signed not only to a 9-picture deal, but a 3 appearances each picture deal. So it's like Old West Cap and like Nazi Cap and Fat Cap. They're all on the multiversal Avengers.
Oh my god!
Avengers assemble!
No.
Thanks for the Hassenpfeffer.
Oh my god!
You're welcome, American Superman.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's kind of setting up the idea, like, you think that I'm bad, but you don't want to meet the other me's because they're not as kind as I am. And it's if you're kind and you took away free will.
Yeah. And of course, like, he's... it's very clever. This show does a lot of clever things, but, when the 6th episode starts, it doesn't have the theme. It's just got, like, a bunch of quotes that we hear over the Marvel logo. And then, and I didn't really get this the first time I saw it, but like what it is since we can't show any pictures, we have to show the pictures that go through the Marvel logo.
Yeah.
The sound is how these are all things from the Marvel universe. But then those sounds, along with other sounds, and just do like, maybe you don't want people to think you're going back in time, but like, why Greta Thunberg? Like, they just had some. What are the 10 most famous clips in recent memory? Don't tase me, bro. Obviously. You know, I hear you, the world hears you, and everyone will hear us soon or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And Baba Booey. Take all those things, and then they're all receding, and it's that scene where you're pulling away from the earth, and the farther back you go, you know, you hear Jimi Hendrix, and then you hear Glenn Campbell, you know, and then you hear, yes, Hitler.
Okay, sure.
But we're leaving the sphere of Earth, you know, and it's radio waves. This is like we're leaving the Marvel universe. And so when it pulls out,
I did not get that.
Oh, you're learning about it now.
Yeah.
So when it pulls out and we just see the ring, we know the ring is all of time. That is our universe.
I didn't get that either. Okay.
Anyway, all right. Well, you got it now.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, Kang's castle sits outside of time.
Okay.
On this meteorite.
Sure. Right.
I don't know if it's important, if it's vibranium or what.
Right.
And so, he sits outside of time and, you know, watches it, you know, not being a part of it. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, he's from the 31st century. Fine. So when they create a bunch of timelines again, I guess Kang will be born from that?
Unclear.
Is Tom Hiddleston on for another 9 of these? Will he, you know, be the de facto? He'll be like, I've got to stop Kang because I created him.
Maybe he'll just have cameos in like everything now. I don't know.
He's the new Samuel Jackson.
Right. Would Tom Hiddleston want to do that? But I don't know. I was kind of surprised he wanted to do a TV show, but he's done TV before.
I'd like to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
Oh my God, no. Yes.
That would be perfect because that would mirror him, you know, creating the Avengers inadvertently. That's
true. And I do think that this Loki in this show, because he is a variant, I think he's gone through a lot of growth in a way. And I think he knows who he is, and he has more of a stronger sense of, I think, identity. And he's not just, you know, lashing out because he's upset or angry in some way. Like he understands himself better.
Well, he goes through a lot in a week or whatever.
He does. He goes through a lot.
He has a big week.
Yeah, he does.
Although he spent a week getting kicked in the balls by Sif, I guess.
Yeah, right.
That good for some. Yeah. It's interesting because I don't think that it's interesting to see a character that has nothing to lose and doesn't believe anything have to deal with stuff. Because if Cap is doing something, even when Cap is saying everything I believed in is wrong and it is a lie, because I believe in America, or I believe in personal freedom, or whatever Cap is these days, mm-hmm. right? Everybody's defending something. Tony Stark does bad things or makes mistakes because he's trying to protect Earth, you know, and protect the world.
Yeah.
That's like the hero's dilemma. But Loki doesn't, he only serves himself, and he has a lot of like personality disorders and things that he believes about the world and himself. And that all of those are challenged just by him seeing other people, you know, go through the same thing, you know, learning about the possible futility of existence because there are millions of other universes and timelines or whatever.
Right.
But also seeing, you know, the thoughtless bureaucracy and brutality of the TVA and just being sort of changed by that. He's a guy who sees how bad you can be and pulls back from the villain ledge. Yeah.
No, I think that's absolutely right. And then like that you're blindly following this bureaucracy, like Owen Wilson's character, like Mobius, like he's just like, TVA created me. This is what I've been doing.
Well, he's another villain that believes he's right.
Well, yeah, that's true. But he really just wants to jet ski, but he doesn't get that dream. Maybe season 2. I don't know. But you know, he thinks that they're doing the right thing. But Ravonna Renslayer too, like she thinks she's right. You know, and she's done a lot more heartless things, I would think, that even Owen, like Mobius is changed by this too.
I'm hoping that she is basically just the de facto villain, the person that we see, the antagonist, I should say, throughout the series.
Yeah, the antagonist.
And so I hope that they find a way that all of her weird decisions make sense. Because first of all, she's just a slave to the bureaucracy.
Yep.
Then later on we learn, the reasons that she wants this so bad is because, I guess, thousands of years ago, a little girl made her look bad. or something.
Kind of seems like
weird
that.
motivation.
Yeah.
Then she learns that everything she believed was a lie, and she's like, just kill me. And then she's like, no, actually, we can make this work or something, or I didn't want you to kill me.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I'm going to go find my own answer. Or what, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, we're focusing a lot on the heroes. You know, we can't develop all these villains all the way.
Right. A lot of I think I understand what you're saying. A lot of the things that she
I
does
wish that
doesn't
more
totally
had been
make sense.
given to her.
Yes.
And when you have a thing where it's like, we have a secret that we have to keep, which I guess she didn't know. There's a debate still about whether she knew or not.
That
the real nature of the TVA.
Right.
I mean, she knows that everybody's a variant.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knows that the timekeepers aren't real or whatever.
I almost said Time Lords.
They must have been real at some point. The Time Lords. They're dressed like Time Lords.
They are.
But we see in Kang's castle 4 statues.
That's true. And one of them is destroyed.
Right. I'm assuming his.
I am too.
Because we see a statue later that is Kang.
That is, yeah. Right. Exactly. And then I know that...
Are they going to make his face blue? You tell me you're going to make a black man's face blue?
I don't know. I kind of...
Hell no!
I kind of hope not, but...
How is this for representation?
Right, exactly. I know that...
black in Lovecraft country.
Yes. I know that Ravonna Renslayer is Kang's girlfriend in the comics, too. So do you think that they'll do that eventually? Like, in the season 2?
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Don't care.
I don't know if that's, but the problem that these Marvel writer people have is that they have to find the core of the character.
Yeah.
And then you have to just drop anything that doesn't fit. And so does Cap need to be a werewolf? We have to tell that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not really.
Does Cap have to watch the president shoot himself in the Oval Office?
Thank God, no.
I would argue, and Steve Englehart would agree, maybe yes,
yeah.
But we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But does Cap need to, lift Mjolnir? Well, in this world where he's the most worthy person, even though he's the least powerful person, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And plus, it's going to be a huge pop. So let's find a way to put it in.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's those kind of things. And so that happens a lot. Like you take, Sylvie the Enchantress.
Yes.
Is a character that was recently created by Paul Cornell for a comic issue.
Wonder how he feels about that.
But it's not, he ain't getting paid, I'll tell you that much.
No.
But it's not that important in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. Is the Enchantress important in the grand scheme of things?
Questionable.
I don't know.
She
Will we ever see the Enchantress now that Asgard is destroyed? Probably not. But do you want to keep the core of a female Asgardian character who uses magic to influence people? To
enchant people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a chant like 57 times.
She does.
So let's just make the quote-unquote Enchantress our character, who is a variant of Loki.
Yeah, I know. It makes sense. You combine things to make time for consistency and consolidation, especially when you're moving from something as expansive as comics to, film and TV, because you have a shorter amount of time to tell a story.
Yeah. Now, there is somewhere, maybe she died when his ship blew up, or when their ship blew up, but there is an Enchantress somewhere, because when Lorelei appears in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I suppose isn't canon anymore, she is Amora's sister, so technically there is an Enchantress, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now everybody's a variant, so who cares? They did what Star Wars, everybody was mad that Star Wars took everything and just made it Legends. But there was nothing else that they could do to clear the stage for the next terrible trilogy that they never should have made.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Sophie's Choice. What if, you make Sophie's Choice, one kid gone, and then on the way home, you let the other kid get hit by a car because he doesn't look where he's going when he crosses the street. No. Double child murder is the J.J. Abrams trilogy. That's just what I'm trying to say. That's just what I'm trying to say.
All right, yeah.
But Marvel did the opposite, which was, let's do the multiverse thing, and then it all happened. It's all real. It can come from any time, any place. Mm-hmm. Legends of Tomorrow has shown us that like audiences can understand this. We have a Lois and Clark where they've got 2 kids for some reason or whatever because it's set in the future.
Right.
Is that our universe? Nobody cares. If anything, DC Films just brute forced this into us by failing so much.
Marvel's like, here, I'm going to take your lunch and show you how it's done.
Yeah. Wow, you got a lot of... So you got the lunch meat on your head, and you've got the bread. You're walking on the bread.
Yeah.
Give me all that. I'm going to show you make a sub out of this.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. We'll see how it works.
But they have created all these opportunities for themselves that they can go just about anywhere now. Which, gosh, it's a lot. Do you think that episode 6 landed this series, or do you think it should have gone in a different direction?
I believe that I said to somebody earlier that if it's just the middle part of like a 12-hour movie or a 12-act story, it's fine. Mm-hmm. Being the finale of, a hotly enjoyed 6-episode series, not great. And man, it's almost like I'm fairly certain now that Kang is not going to act like Jonathan Majors acts in this episode.
No, I don't think he is.
But because he would die of sodium poisoning because of how hammy he is. But it's almost like I don't feel like this character is well developed. I think somebody and maybe he didn't have a lot of time, but somebody just said to him, he's a little off his rocker. Mm-hmm. He is sort of entertained by this because he's beyond consequence and childlike.
Right.
And Jonathan Majors took his clown nose off and he's like, I can do this.
Right.
But he doesn't have to work too hard because his character's dead and we'll never see him again.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I just feel like I don't think that if there was another episode with this guy, it wouldn't have worked. We would have had to have a more solid character, something to hold on to.
Right.
Then take that character that's a little disjointed and annoying and give him all of the dialogue in the episode.
I know.
And it just becomes pretty much unbearable. Like I had to go up and, get something to drink in the middle of the thing because I'm like, well, okay, he's just going to keep smacking his lips and rolling around on top of his desk. And it's just like, it's a very indulgent, performance.
The thing that's like hard for me to buy is that both Loki and Sylvie would just sit there the whole time.
Yeah.
These characters that at least like Loki, who, I mean, I know he's different, but he can't sit through a conversation with his brother and sitting in one place.
Yeah.
Why would he sit still while this guy he doesn't know talks at him for 20 minutes?
Right. And, there's a lot at stake here. They realize that they are, talking to an important figure. They are outside of time or whatever, but they are there to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And I know that he proves that he knows what they're going to do. They never really play with the fact that he knows what they're going to do.
Not a whole lot.
Other than him, I don't know, like he must know that Sylvie's going to stab him, right?
Well, he says at one point.
Oh, no, that's right. Yes. I'm sorry. For convenience.
Right.
He goes, oh, now it doesn't work anymore. And now I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And let me play this. Oh, no, I've been playing this Glee the entire time. So it doesn't, the effect is lessened.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not just a character. This is a device. This is a function. This person who is time and understands time and knows what they're going to say and all that stuff. I thought you could have played all that more. This thing felt like we're out of money. We're doing an architect.
Yeah, I would agree. Most of it takes place in that one room.
Yep.
And most of it is just him talking. And there's a couple of special effects where he's showing them what happened years ago with the many versions of him, but
then they have a sword fight.
Yeah, and then Loki and Sylvie have a sword fight. That was probably the most exciting part of the entire thing.
Well, it's also just like, this is a Marvel show.
Yeah, some action finally. And then they kiss, and then she just sends him back to the TVA, and then we have that heartbreaking realization that it's not his TVA,
which is
Mobius
interesting.
Doesn't recognize him.
Which is interesting, and it's kind of an inversion of it wasn't our Loki when this show started. Now there are people who would take this Loki over the other Loki, but now he is a stranger to the show, whereas he was a stranger to the audience before. Now the show doesn't recognize him, and I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
but it's going to get real annoying. Who's going to forget about who for season 3?
Oh my God.
They're going to come to your house and hit you in the head with a hammer and then just play season 1 over again.
They're gonna Men in Black us and make us forget the whole thing, and then we'll just be like, wow, what is this new show, Loki?
So and it remains to be seen, he's wearing the traditional Kang outfit, not the helmet, but the outfit. So we are to assume that was his plan all along. Although remember, he's not the other guy. That is a different guy. That is the guy that remains. So we'll just call him Nathaniel Richards or whatever, right?
Right.
God, who's Reed Richards going to be? And now, look,
I don't know.
1,000 years of genetic drift, it could be anybody. It could be Pedro Pascal. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I think just visually, they're probably going to cast a black guy. I think it's pretty awesome.
Well, that would be cool. I'd be totally down with that.
Yeah, not Jonathan Majors, though.
No.
Don't have him play his ancestor.
No, let's not do that.
But yeah, so is this Kang then now? The changes that he caused, even though they're outside of time, I don't know how it works. And ultimate creating branching universes or whatever means that there is a Kang. We don't have to wait for him to grow up or anything because everything takes place at once, right? So there is just now a Kang.
Yes.
And he either founded the TVA or at some point came in and cooed the TVA and took it over, and they're working for him. We don't know if it's called the TVA.
I don't know because, are you talking about the statue? I assume that's Kang.
Yes, for the last 5 minutes I've been talking about that statue.
Okay, yeah, I assume that is Kang. I don't know who else it would be, although it sounds like I'm not as familiar. He's a vast character in the comic books, and I'm not super familiar with the character.
People say that He Who Remains is the Immortus.
That's what I've heard.
Form of Kang.
Yeah.
Who is the future version who does have a connection to the Timekeepers in the comics.
Sure.
Although he has more agency than this guy seems to have.
Huh.
This guy's just like, yeah, I'm just minding the store.
Hey,
Everybody
what's
else
up?
is gone.
I'm bored.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Kill me.
That's not really an Immortus thing.
No.
But then again, if there's infinite versions of it, you can do whatever you want.
That's kind of what I feel like they're doing, because while he's telling the story, it's like there's lots of different versions of him. And it sounds like maybe, did he kill some of them? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. So, but if time branches off again,
possibly
are they alive again?
Well, that's the thing. So here's the problem. I don't necessarily like the idea, because the time is a circle thing. So, and Mobius says in the first episode that all this has happened. It's Battlestar Galactica, right? It's all happened before. It all happens again. Like time is a loop. Well, it's not. It's not in our universe, where cosmologists are fairly certain now that the universe will keep expanding forever.
Yeah.
And it's not going to loop back on itself. As far as time goes, is time just a loop? I don't know. We know that Galactus is the only survivor from the universe before the Big Bang.
Okay.
Or something like that. So there was a universe before that. It doesn't just keep happening. But in this reality, time is itself a loop. And so the reason that you need it to be a loop is so if He Who Remains has killed an infinite number of Kangs, then they're gone, right? In all their timelines, all their whatever point they're at in time, wherever they are, he found them all and got rid of them all. So if you kill him, that's it, right? Where all the Kangs are dead. But he's saying, since it all happens cyclically, if you kill me, I won't be there to stop,
Okay, I get what you're saying.
And so all the Kangs that were before will be again in one form or another. That's I think why they have designed, because remember, this show is meticulously designed. So I think that's why they have designed the idea of time the way they did. What I want to know is, who is that guy that they vaporized in the first scene?
Is he going to come back?
He's in the void somewhere. Sure. I guess it wasn't Peggy Carter.
Yeah, right. There were some outlandish ideas, weren't there?
Yeah. Where's Mephisto?
Yeah. Everybody wants to see Mephisto, apparently.
If you're going to time travel and you're not going to show us Dane Whitman.
I don't know who Dane Whitman is.
The Black Knight.
Oh, right.
I know he's not from the past, but he goes to the past sometimes.
Yeah, just foreshadow him, because he's going to be in the
No,
Eternals.
you're in medieval France. You can't have you know, they leave and then the door opens and Jon Snow's like, what was that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? He's done TV before. Have him do
my
a little
lord,
cameo.
did you, in French subtitle, are you all right? He's like, oh, no, d'accord, it's all fine. Like, I thought I heard people speaking English, right? Because he's from the 21st century.
That would be interesting. I'm kind of still like, I'm waiting to see how they're going to incorporate the Eternals into the bigger MCU picture.
Very, very excited about it. Yeah. Excited about Shang-Chi being in the movies.
Yeah.
Not quite excited about the fact that it's probably just going to be, soft serve kung fu Marvel origin movie.
Yeah.
Really excited about the Eternals. Excited about the fact that Chloe Zhao specifically requested like this property to work on. They're like, what do you want to do? She's like, the Eternals. They're like, okay.
Yeah, and before she won her Oscar for Best Director.
Yeah, and so, well, I mean, Disney knows where the fix is.
I guess, yeah.
But we don't wait for the ceremony anymore. We just contact people beforehand. But yeah, excited about that. Excited about the implications. Hope that it pays off, because it's another one of those things where they cast a lot of people who are good at what they do, but aren't names necessarily.
Yeah,
Sorry, Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
You might be the best choice for Ajax, but, other than Angelina Jolie, didn't pack this with stars.
Yeah.
But then, who's Chris Evans, right?
Fair enough.
Who the hell's Jeremy Renner?
Yeah. Who was ScarJo before these movies?
We've talked about that.
I know we have.
She was an established actress.
She was.
She just hadn't done something like this.
I know.
Except for The Island, of course.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Any last thoughts about The Island? I mean, Loki? Or Phase 4? Because you're going to be talking about it.
I am.
MCU retrospective panel at Convergence.
I know.
We'll all be looking to you.
Oh boy.
Tell us.
No pressure.
Tell us what happened in Reel 4 of The Lost World. How did the Kool-Aid get into Jane in the first place? You remember.
Oh my God. How indeed.
What is the name of Darcy's assistant? The assistant to the assistant.
I don't remember his name, which is bad, but yeah. I'm looking forward to Phase 4. I know that this that Loki is setting up a lot of different things, just like WandaVision and everything else.
Yeah, WandaVision.
Well, multiverse of madness.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, setting up Ralph Boner.
Okay, I know that went nowhere, and it's nominated for Emmy. So there you go.
Yeah. Think that person's coming back?
Probably. I don't know. I just go, if you haven't watched this, watch
Jack
it.
Schaefer, the guy that wrote a lot of WandaVision, wrote the Black Widow movie, which we trashed last week. So, yeah, keep bringing them back.
Yeah. Isn't one of the directors from WandaVision going to direct a new Star Trek movie?
See, now Star Trek understands the difference between timelines and universes.
Wow.
Because in Discovery, Empress Georgiou comes from the Mirror Universe.
Right.
To the Prime Universe.
Yes.
Then they travel 1,000 years into the future.
Yep.
But that's like shifting gears, apparently. Like, that's too much moving around in between universes, and so she has to go back to her universe eventually.
Yeah, they deal with it.
It's two different things.
It is two different things.
It isn't like, oh, there's a timeline because, Farmer Hoggett shot that Vulcan in the face! Just yelling at Mika about more Star Trek stuff. That's it for our show. Thanks for joining us. Join us in the future to hear us talk about more stuff like this. And join us online on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Get with us.
That's right.
Dude or dudette.
Or dudette.
And talk about the nerd stuff. Mm-hmm. Or, I don't know, geopolitics. Animal husbandry.
Great British Bake Off.
The Great British Bake Off.
Yeah.
I think that's a nerd topic.
Okay.
You can hear us talk about those nerd topics on our show when you go to your listening platform of choice and you subscribe to the show. Give us a rating and a review. We'd really appreciate it. That's how the computers that run our world. Mm-hmm. I am a computer, but I answer to a higher computer. And that's how they know that we're doing a good job. So give us 5 Lokis, and you've got Alligator Loki.
Yes.
Kid Loki.
Yes.
Which I think they really sold out because now you're going to do Young Avengers and have a different Kid Loki. Are you going to get that kid back?
Yeah, right.
It'll just be a different Kid Loki.
I don't know.
You've diluted it. Richard E. Grant deserves his own show, Loki.
Oh my God, I know.
Throwaway boasting Loki.
I know.
And then just Tom Hiddleston, but he's President Loki.
Yeah, right.
Worked real hard on that one too.
No, not really.
Not every part of the show is perfect.
No.
Give us 5 stars instead. We would appreciate that. We'll see you next week to talk about something else. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.